Now, after the landslides that struck Wayanad that led to the deaths of hundreds of people, there is a call now for a proper and responsible development of the Western Ghats right here in Karnataka. Now, to discuss more about that, I have with me two environmentalists. We have with us Vijay Nishant, who is popularly known as the tree doctor right here in Bengaluru. And we also have with us Akshay Heblikar, who is also an environmentalist and the director of Eco Watch. Thank you for joining us for this discussion on Southwest.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vijay, let me just start with you. Now, you held a press conference along with Akshay, and you are asking the government to start discussing the report, the Madhav Gadgil report, and also the Kasturi Rangan report. Can you take us through that?
Yeah, because recently you would have seen like one of the national channel carried the interview of the Madhav Gadgil clip. Now today, whatever is happening in the Wayanad, he has predicted. And the worst part of all of us is actually we did not listen to it. We did not even take a look at what he has done with the report and everything. And that is the saddest part, and that's why we are seeing all this death and everything. In one of the part in that part of the interview where he keep mentioning it when he made the report, which is like given a go ahead by the central government. This report is done on the words of the central government. Actually, it is not done by his own or any like other things and all. People should understand when this report came, all the politicians they said they should not go near the Madhav Gadgil. And that really shows where we are looking at what is the saddest state which is happening for the environment and everything. And that is where we are like thought about, see, until unless we are not discussing this report, nothing will go forward actually. Because that is the best report of any environmentalist all over India. Outside of the India, they're watching for it actually. It had all the like wanted points. And there is a wrong information is passed. That report even has a development part also actually. So that's why we came with understanding. See, until unless the discussion re-looked into it, because it's a decade back which has happened and everything. Suddenly, because of there was no proper understanding over the year. So that's where we have to start actually, and that's where with Akshay sir leading the campaign. When I went to him, I requested him actually. He said yes, and he also told it's very important to carry this discussion, Vijay, re-invoke it and all. And that's what we try to do is actually we came yesterday. We started the like a press meet in the Bengaluru, because why we did it is actually the most larger area is with Karnataka, and it lies the responsibility with us also to taking a lead, because at the end of the day, the people who are died in the Kerala and the Shiruru all are our brother. So that's why we did that report.
Okay. Akshay, I want to ask you this question. Now, not just the Gadgil report, you also had the Kasturi Rangan report. And specifically for Karnataka, the government over here is clearly not in a mood to implement any. Leave the Gadgil report, even the Kasturi Rangan report, they do not want to implement it because their main grouse is that it will affect the livelihoods of people.
Right. Whether it is the Kasturi Rangan report or the Gadgil report, but I would definitely say that it is extremely important that they have a look or relook at the Madhav Gadgil report itself more than the Kasturi Rangan report. So what they are saying, as you said, they are looking at the livelihoods of the people. Well, in fact, if you look at the Madhav Gadgil report, what he actually says is that the Western Ghats, which is one of the 18 mega diversity hotspots in the world, like it's not just a biodiversity hotspot, it is a mega diversity hotspot, and it needs to be protected at any cost. See, the whole issue here is that we are not saying, or none of them are saying, that you don't want any kind of development. But you are not supposed to disturb or destroy the ecosystems. And especially in the Western Ghats, they are highly ecologically sensitive areas that have to be, in fact, not just left alone, but they have to be protected. We need to safeguard them if at all we want to sustain the livelihoods of the people in future. So the whole theory of this livelihoods, I'm not going to buy that idea of the government saying that we need to protect the livelihoods of people. But this, in fact, if at all you protect the Western Ghats, if you save these Western Ghats, we are going to sustain the livelihoods of not just our generation, but also the future generations, maybe next 5 or 10 generations, because all the resources that we are utilizing now, we are the beneficiaries sitting here in Bangalore. We are directly or indirectly the beneficiary of the resources of the Western Ghats, be it water, be it agriculture, whether it's climate, whatever it is because of the Western Ghats that we receive rains. We have enough water for irrigation or agriculture and farming, water for drinking, and the same water is again being used for industries or various other domestic and industrial purposes. So, if at all we need to, sustain the livelihoods of people either in the Western Ghats or those who are dependent on it. In fact, Western Ghats is the one which is actually sustaining the entire southern peninsula. So, if at all we have to sustain our lives, our economy, our livelihoods, we will have to protect the Western Ghats at any cost so that we will be able to continue our economic growth, development, prosperity, everything in future, not just for the coming few years, for years to come.
Okay, actually, everyone knows this. You know it, I know it, even the politicians know it. Now, in spite of what took place in Wayanad, we have seen the death and destruction that took place there. The government of Karnataka has categorically stated that they will not implement the Kasturi Rangan report. So why are politicians so wary when they know that if there's responsible development of the Western Ghats, everybody gains? Is it because of vote bank politics that they don't want to take any sort of decision?
To an extent, yes, it may be the vote bank politics, but to a large extent, I think they have, there are a lot of vested interests because this is a treasure trove of various resources. Mining happens, you have lots of projects that are coming up in the Western Ghats area, be it hydro or dams that are being built for power related projects. They are having huge amounts of road, network like the 4 lane or the 6 lane that are being developed in these areas. All this has, this is mostly because of the vested interests. There is a nexus between the politicians or the local leaders or MLAs or corporators or the contractors. So this, and at the same time, there is a lot of illegal encroachment, encroachment of various forest areas, maybe around the forest areas, it may be right in the Western Ghats itself. There is a lot of land that is being encroached, and this is being done illegally. And if at all the Gadgil report is being implemented, I guess a lot of these, illegal activities will surface, and I think many of them are very scared of this particular thing, and then they are influencing the governments, influencing the people, the decision makers to not implement the Gadgil report at all. So I'm not saying that everyone is has this vested interest, but there is a lot of uh, you know uh, not just the politicians, but there are so many others who are also connected, and they are somehow trying to influence these politicians and leaders to not implement. So this is one major thing. There is a huge mafia also that is there because there is abundant resources that are available, and this will immediately stop a lot of projects, and especially those who are working in this area, those who have
Okay.
got huge contracts. So this is going to be affected very badly.
Vijay, I want to ask you, so what is your plan of action? You held this press conference, you've started to talk about this particular issue. What are your next steps?
No, we wanted to conduct the seminars and we wanted to go to the locals and we wanted to take the campaigns like the understanding and we wanted to break the and simplification of the Madhav Gadgil report and tell the truth actually. Because see, I'll tell you what. if the central government has notified recently also after Wayanad, whatever the landslide has happened, after also notification is done actually. So if so many times it is there, there has to be something right, no? Who will go to like spread about that? Because when they did not met the Madhav Gadgil sir 10 years before, think it of. It is a continuous plan, and the central government simply like notifies that actually they know like all the 6 states cannot come in the line actually. They can given us some reasons and that is a better for those kind of a people like which helps them to make their own money and all actually. And now when the death happens, everybody runs away. So that's why we wanted to make art accountable actually. So we are like we'll go to with Akshay sir and everybody we are talking and the locals also we are talking to the people and everything. And that is the way forward. And even like yesterday when we requested even state government should open this discussion, the talk and everything. See, until unless we like create a proper awareness about the report, the understanding, local detailing and everything. See, they will keep playing this game. The havoc they're going to play it because this nothing will going to happen and people keep dying it actually. At the end of the day, the poor people, the local people are going to give their life for their profiting. And other part is like the destruction. What is the Western Ghats is receiving it that will going to cause a damage for the every generation in the future. See, if something happens to the Western Ghats, South India will go off. So that's where we have to be very careful. And Western Ghats is not something like you can fiddle with it. And Western Ghats is older than Himalaya. So we have to be very careful with what we are dealing with it actually. And you're seeing because of the climate crisis, it is in the open. If this is the time you are not taking a call, starting discussing, not taking the right call, today it might be Wayanad, tomorrow it might be anybody. Even if you and me are traveling to that area, something can happen. It can happen to our family and everything. Nobody is going to take a responsibility actually. And we wanted to develop in such a way where like it doesn't cost like a damage anything to Western Ghats and everything. And the livelihood of the local people comes into the mainframe and everything. That is what we wanted to make it sure. Like nobody is against the development actually. That is the message we wanted to carry, and we wanted to like give a maximum livelihood to the locals. The environment is saved in the Western Ghats, and it sustains for the future generation. That is the only thing we are looking at it. That is what from our side.
Akshay, I want to ask you this question. In the Gadgil report, there was a need for a Western Ghats protection force to be set up. And also, I've realized that we really do not have a catchment area protection policy. Could you delve a little bit more on this?
Well, see, there is also a Western Ghats ecology expert, committee, and also the task force, as you mentioned. So here, you're talking about the catchment area. See, the catchment area, either for the rivers or any of the water bodies, is extremely important. Sometimes I believe that the catchment area is even more important than the water body itself. Because until and unless you have a very defined, clear, and a strong catchment area, you will not be able to harvest any of the rainwater into that specific water body. So this is what he meant, that if you have to have the catchment area where you have experts who are working on this. It may be hydrologists, it may be geologists, environmentalists, ecologists, even engineers who are working in under some of the projects in those areas. So the whole point here is that one is the task force which has to be created in different geographical locations. For example, Karnataka is one state which comprises the Western Ghats, and we have the maximum stretch of Western Ghats in Karnataka. So there are different geographical locations, like from Kasargod down south in Karnataka, right up to the Castle Rock in northern Karnataka, bordering Goa. There are different ecosystems. Some places we have the rainforest, some places, some of them are moist deciduous, rainforest, some of them are deciduous, some of them are dry deciduous. So the ecosystem itself is so diverse that we need to have people who are experts in such ecosystem restoration and management activities. So this is lacking, and that is why Gadgil also had suggested that the schools in throughout, especially in and around the Western Ghats region, schools, each school, each and every school should have a school biodiversity register. So that is to basically make the children understand, sensitize them, create awareness amongst the children about what are the different types. I mean, what is their surrounding, what is the environment, what do you mean by ecology, why we need to protect it, because he is the one who actually started, who designed the People's Biodiversity Register. And today, the National Biodiversity Authority (NBA) actually has a mandate to document biodiversity all across the country. And we were also the first ones to help him document it in the form of a video film or a documentary film. So, in addition to the PBR, the SPR, that is the School Biodiversity Register, is also a very important document, because what he meant, and he said these SPRs and PBRs would actually start making, the ambassadors of change. They are the ones who are actually going to become, the future ambassadors of conservation, sustainability, and environmental uh, protection. So that's what he meant when we said the task force should start penetrating into these areas by these methods. And this was his approach. And that is what we are also trying to see, that through this, as Vijay said, press meet is also to create awareness, sensitize people in the local areas, in those regions in the Western Ghats, and also to have their consensus, consult them, and then go about. Even Madhav Gadgil had suggested the same thing. You have to have consultation meeting discussions with the local people based on their requirements, need, and then you'll be able to implement the Gadgil report, the whatever suggestions he had made.
Okay, Vijay, I want to ask you this question. Today, we do not have the luxury of time to sit, debate, argue, resurvey everything once more, with destruction taking place all around us. We have seen what's happening in Wayanad. We've seen there what's happened there. We're seeing what's happening in Kodagu itself. It's leading to also man-animal conflict. So if the government does not budge, then what?
See, that is the problem what we are lurking actually. See, now 10 years after the Madhav Gadgil sir report has come, so much of a things has happened and everything. Nothing is done. That is what it's disheartening for us also actually. Because when I met with Akshay sir, actually, that is what we kept discussing. We don't have the timeline. If next, before even like a next meeting conducting or like a anything to before this one something happens, what that is what we are worried about actually, and nobody in the spectrum of the political class or like any like normal people are not bothered, because there is a 10 years of the ignorance has happened to this whole part of the world actually. So the bridging, without a bridging that gap, really we can't go anywhere ahead actually. But still, I requested with the Akshay sir and all our members like who will go to join us actually. We wanted to meet with the actually the with the environment minister of the Karnataka. So he is looking somewhat positive about the whatever is happening recent times and everything. He has told in a recent in one of the line, he said it like we are destroying it, the Western Ghats and everything, and he has taken a very good call in the recent time also. Another thing is what we wanted to ask with this interview is actually, see, the Rahul Gandhi knows what has happened in the Wayanad. Even he said something which is happening in the Wayanad in the parliament also. And he knows Karnataka also very well. Actually, he has the core strength with both the state and everything. So we would kindly request Rahul Gandhi to look into this matter, and somewhere the discussions opens actually, and that is where has to start. So we are also very eager to like a start and trying to meet the whoever the concerned authority and everything, and that is where we are heading. And it is not going to be easy for us also. So we'll make it sure like whatever the fastest way possible way we try to meet and try to spread across and try to look into this issue. So that is from our side, Nolan. That is the maximum we can do it. So we hopeful some way comes out actually.
All right, Akshay and Vijay, thank you so much for giving your time over here. This is an important issue that needs to be spoken. So I'm just really glad that this press conference of yours was the first step so that people understand that there is a need for responsible development of the Western Ghats and also the need to safeguard the Western Ghats in Karnataka so that we don't suffer what we have seen in Wayanad, leading to loss of lives. Thank you once again for joining us on South First.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Nolan.